You know, whenever you get a win, you have to be pretty excited. Not have to be, you should be very excited, especially a road win. Um, Fought hard for that win. Um, we talk about a lot of different areas that tell whether you win or you lose. Turnover ratio, of course, through the time that I've been a coach, has been one that sticks out each week. So to get that many takeaways should say win, which it did. Penalty-wise, some things we need to clean up from last week. We didn't start off really well penalty-wise, but finishing up, I think we had 6. Really, one was intentional, so 5 penalties in the game. That's more along the lines of what you would like, even though that's too many also. But found a way to win. We had some guys that really played well individually. Darius Mosley on the defensive side was outstanding as a punt returner. On the defensive side, of course, a touchdown and the recovered fumble, but he had a couple other big stops too. So really like what he did the first time, starting at the nickel position. Jamal Milan also, played well on the defensive side of the football. Offensively, Chase Crouch, gutting it out, playing, good football again, like he did the previous week. We would like to have that interception back, but just like, what he's brought, the energy he's brought to our football team. Kendrick Foster, last 3 weeks has played the same way. Really could go all the way back to the first game of the season. So running back position as a whole has been productive. Reggie Corbin, Keyshawn Vaughn, all of them. So anyway, we found a way to win a football game, which is good. Need to kind of build on that. We realize who we have this week. We're playing one of the best teams in the country at their place. We've been the homecoming team quite a bit this year, so but we're looking forward to that challenge ahead of us. Injury-wise, there's some bumps and bruises from the last game. We don't go over an injury list, so I'm not going to go over the injury list or anything like that. We're improving, and see what happens the rest of the week. Take your question.
Coach, talk about how the team has evolved player-wise. You look like you're getting younger. You're starting to use more players, Jamal and Jackson in the line. You've got the 2 safeties playing a lot. Talk how that has evolved for you.
Well, how it has evolved, you're coming in new. You have an idea of who should play based on what you've done at the time. But once you get to games, players tell you a lot more. They tell you who should start, who should play. So that's how we've ended up in that final starting lineup that we had last week. It's based on what we would like to see from those positions. And so it happens some of the players are younger, but that's not what we're looking at. We're looking for best fit and the players that are making the most plays. Patrick Nelson has come in at the safety position, has made a lot of tackles, given us good physical play. We started Stanley Green last week at the safety position, but that's based on them doing something, practice, special teams, or just not liking what we've seen at the position.
Are there intangibles you look for when it comes to putting a young player into, besides or do you just go straight performance, how they do and figure they can handle it in the game, or is there?
Well, I think when you put a player in, he has to have the intangibles that you're looking for and be able to handle the situation, yes. Or we wouldn't put them in. But we just won't play guys strictly based on just talent alone. We have to assume and believe that they can handle the situation, because no matter how much talent you have, first time can be daunting from time to time, but that hadn't been the case with our play.
What had Patrick Nelson done in practice that made you believe that he was a better fit for this scheme that you guys have?
Well, and practice throughout. I mean, we have seen him hit a few times before, but sometimes when you have guys ahead of you, for whatever reason on the depth chart, you haven't gotten an opportunity. What he did to continue to play was make his first snap, big hit. And then from there, we've seen him make tackle after tackle. We're not there yet, and, he still needs to improve his play, but we have a lot to build on.
What is that? You shuffled a lot in that secondary. What is the group you have now provided for you in the last couple of seasons?
It's the best play. I mean, simple as that. Playing the run, playing the pass, you know, trying to win football games. So, you know, best overall play. That's how we got into that spot.
How's Wes's back?
Okay, Wes is getting better. And, you know, there's no program in the country that talks in detail about injuries. We're not going to either, and you can understand why. I mean, I kind of go over that each week. Our players are getting better. We don't have practice today. We'll see how it goes this week.
What is this offensive line? I know the running backs have played well. What have you seen from the offensive line, their progression so far?
Well, we haven't progressed as much as we need to. That's what we've seen. We need to get better play from our offensive line. It's as simple as that. Talking about all five, we have the five we wanted to start the season with. The running backs are really creating plays. We need better play from our line.
What is Chip Harbaugh? He's obviously brought a lot to Michigan, but what does he do for the Big Ten? And what do you think of him as coach? I know you played against him before.
Jim's a good football coach. So when you have good football coaches, of course, they have the Big Ten, have the Michigan program. Just a good, hard-nosed coach that loves his job. He's been successful at every level. You expect his teams to play a certain way, certain personality. I think there's a certain personality first to the University of Michigan through the years on what type of football. You think Big Ten football, Michigan, of course, is one of the teams that comes to mind right away, and with a certain brand of football. The offensive attack we're going to see this week is different from what we've seen. We had play a lot of spread offenses that spread you out, trick you a little bit, but not a lot of downhill, two-back type plays. We're going to get that this week. That's a big boy, padded, game that we'll see this week.
James Crawford kind of moved at the defensive end spot this
Yes.
week. What was kind of the reason for that?
Well, just trying to, again, looking at guys in different positions. James Crawford is one of our better athletes. He's not in a rotation awful lot hasn't been at the will linebacker position anymore, but most of the good pass rushers you see, most of them didn't start off playing on the defensive line. They were a skilled athlete, started getting bigger, and a lot of times you start working your way back up. Crawford was a strong safety to linebacker, and I just think that when you have an athlete like that with decent size, that good speed, outstanding numbers, almost 40 vertical, 10-4 standing long jump, you have to find a place for them. And rushing the passer seems to be that was the first time, but he should have had one sack. Just kind of like what he did the initial, time out there.
Something in the offseason, you guys want to bulk him up and have him more at that position?
See, that, seemed like that's how, the first thing you ask is that, okay, move him there and bulk him up. We're not into bulking guys up, get him stronger, He has decent size right now. And, no, that's not an all-season project. He played for us Saturday, and we'll look at what he does this week.
Did I catch Smoot at tackle in that pass rush situation in that game late?
Just, going into detail on what we're doing, but I guess everybody knows that. Smoot Dewan can rush on the outside. He can rush on the left side. He can rush on the right side. And it's a pretty good matchup with him on the inside on the guards. And as a pass rusher, you want to play a lot of different positions. In Chicago, we had Peppers play a lot of different spots. So you have to find good matchups to put them in the best position to get to the quarterback. Dewan rushed well from the guard position this past week, and so that's another option we'll have as we go forward.
Speaking of Peppers, the different Peppers on Michigan, what impresses you about Jabril?
Everything. He's an outstanding football player, great football player, special football player. It doesn't matter where he is, whether it's on the defensive side at multiple positions. I'd say most defensive players would like to see him on the defensive side and not carrying the ball offensively, whether it be quarterback, wherever. So I'm, just like I'm not telling you anything that's new. It's not a secret that they have a special player up there wearing that number.
Do we have any questions from the phone lines for Coach Smith? Shannon's here. Normal questions. Anything else for Coach?
The takeaways you had last weekend, how much is that something that you can build on, or is that a one-off thing and you have to kind of start over a different opponent? Is there momentum to be gained?
We believe in taking the ball away. The winning edge is a turnover ratio, as I said earlier in the press conference. It'll be that way always. I mean, a lot's been said about, the amount of penalties and different things that we've done that we're not doing well. One of the things that we've done well, and where we're as good as anybody, I think our turnover ratio of +8 is about as good as anyone's in the country. So, got to keep building on that. That's a part of our DNA.